Greetings everybody, myself Palkumar Patel, and today we are going to continue our lead code problem solving series. So today we are going to solve the classic jewels and stones question, starting with the proper explanation. So let's understand what's actually happening in the question. We are given two strings, jewels and stones, where jewels contains a number of jewels and stones contains the number of stones which also contain some jewels in them. Okay, and our task is simple. We need to just provide the count of how many jewels are present in the number of stones there. So let's take an example. For example, J is the string which contains jewels. Okay, and S is the string which contains the number of stones. As you can see, there are three jewels, A and 2 times capital A, which are the jewels which are present in between the stones. So 1, 2 and 3, we need to return the count 3. This is our simple task. Okay, now let's start with the approach, the most basic brute force approach. Okay, so the approach of brute force approach is simple. We will just iterate through the jewels and the count, iterate through the stones as well. So like our task is simple. We will start by iterating from the first character of the stones and check if that character is present in the jewels string. We will increase the count by 1. Okay, so like for each character, we will scan through the complete jewels string every time to check if it's present in the jewels string or not. If yes, we will increase the count by 1. So let's go for it. Okay, first of all, we will declare the variable which we are going to return at the end of the program, which will be count. Then we will start iterating through the stones string. Okay, for that there will be an outer loop which we are going to use for iterating through the stone string. Okay, then we will use a nested loop which we are going to use for scanning through the complete jewels string for every character stones. Okay, so for the inner loop, the size will be of the jewels. Okay, okay, now just a simple if condition, that if the stones of the I equals any of jewels of J, then we will simply count plus plus. Okay, simply basic approach. If the character which we are on in the stones string, if it's present in the jewels string, we will increase the count of the return variable by once, which will give us at the end of the program the final count of how many jewels are present in the stone string. Done. So we will just return the count directly to check works or not. Okay, so yeah, it works. Let's check by submitting if there is any edge case or not. Okay, it works. Yeah, so this is the complete brute force approach. Okay, and this is the actual part where most of the students mess up during their interviews. Yeah, obviously, because you are using an order of n cross m. As you can see, it beats 22% of the total submissions only, because the complete we can say time complexity of the code that I have written is n cross m, which is obviously not optimized properly. We are using nested loops to just scan through arrays and check if it's matching or not. It's obviously not the best approach for the question. Okay, so there is obviously an optimized approach and we are going for that now. Okay, so the next approach is optimized approach. So let's think how we can just decrease all the mess that we are doing. Currently what we are doing in the brute force approach, we were selecting a character in stones and scanning through complete jewels to check if it's present or not. We can just decrease that work by doing a thing that we will store the jewels string into a set. Okay, into a set or any hash based structure which will help us to directly go through complete string in once without using a loop. Okay, because hash based structure has this biggest advantage in them. They can help us to iterate through a complete part of a data in once without using much time or space in our code. Okay, so we will store the jewel string which we want to scan every time while we iterate into the stones string. Okay, we will store that in a hash based structure like set, and then the thing which we are doing in the stones string, we will iterate through it completely from start to end, and then during that part we will use that set to check if it's present or not. Okay, so let's go for it. Okay, so we will need the count. Okay, I'm just deleting the mid part. So yeah, now continuing with the optimized approach. So as I discussed, we are going to use hash based structure. For this one, we are going to use a set, which is like very easy to use because we are containing, like we are dealing with characters, which will be easy to use set. As integers, they are better to use with vectors, and for strings it's better to use set. So we're going to use a set. Okay, the approach is simple. As I discussed, we will be using a dot count named method. Okay, because hash based structure contains a bit advantage, which is that they provide methods to iterate through themselves to check like for these purposes if anything is present in them or not. They provide some methods which we can use to iterate through them completely without using much of time or space in our code. Okay, and for set we have the method called dot count. Okay, dot count is simple. For if we are passing an element through dot count, okay, it will just return 1 or 0. If the element that we want to check, if it's present in the set, it will return 1, and if it's not present in the set, it will return 0, representing true and false. 1 for true and 0 for false. Okay, it will simply return two values, which makes it easy to use in if conditions. Okay, so starting with declaring that set. Okay, unordered set. Okay, we will be storing characters in it. Okay, because jewels are is a string which contains characters. Okay, we will be naming it as store because it is a store. Okay, and it will be containing characters of jewels string from beginning till the end. Okay, end of the complete string. Okay, so from the start of the jewel string till the end. Okay, after that storing of the jewel string, it makes it easy, and that's why this is the optimized approach. Okay, so bit part of optimized approach is similar to the brute force approach. Like we are going to iterate through the stones which we were doing as it is in the brute force approach too. Okay, we are just doing the same thing here too. Okay, we will be iterating through, we will be starting by iterating through the stones string from start to end, and during that the nested loop that we were using, that will be cutted in the optimized approach, and for that we will be using set. As I mentioned, we will be simply using an if condition to check if jewels like sorry store the store contains, for which dot count, the current character which is stones of the current iteration, if it's present in the store or not. If yes, then it will be returning true, which is 1. So for that the if condition will run. Okay, so if it's present, we will increase the count by once, and if it's not, then nothing is gonna work. Okay, it will move to the next iteration. After that, we will be returning count, which will contain complete number of how many jewels are present in the stones or not. Okay, let's check if it works or not. Okay, so yeah, it works. Let's submit and check if there is any edge case or not. Okay, so as you can see, there is no edge case which passes this code, and everything works properly with the optimized solution too. As you have noticed, in the brute force approach, the amount of accepted runtime was 22% only, and it is increased and reached till the 100% because of the optimization that we have did on the code. Okay, and that's why this is the optimized approach. So you could have understand what is the actual approach that we should use while we have these type of operation, iterating through array once or twice, inculcating to check if something is present or not. To check for that, using nested loops will make it more to the runtime and space too, making it less optimized, for which we have hash based structure like the one which I have used called set. This makes it easier, and it also becomes like a nice impression in the interview part too. Okay, so this was the complete dwells and stones problem, the brute force approach, the optimized approach, and this was the complete part. If you want the code, you can get it from the GitHub link I have added in my description. You can get both the codes from there. Okay, and if you like these type of content, coding content, competitive coding, tech related, you can go through my channel, follow me for future content too. Okay, thank you very much. Also, the socials of mine are present in my description of the channel. LinkedIn and every social connection are links are present in my description. You can use them to connect with me. Okay, thank you very much.